It's Impact with the Florida Star, the largest, oldest, and most read African American newspaper in Northeast Florida and South Georgia. And now, here's the host, the publisher of the award-winning Florida Star, Clara McLaughlin.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Impact. I'm Clara McLaughlin, your host and publisher of the Florida Star newspaper. I am so delighted that we have such listeners that want to hear more of Matthew Knowles, the father of Beyonce, and how he made it and how she made it. Okay, so they felt that there was not enough given last week, so we want to do a whole lot more. Well, it's at least the 50 minutes that he gave us to talk. All right, so please stay with us, and if you have any questions, call me. You can't call, but anyway, if you have any questions, call us, and we can talk about it later. You can call the radio station, or you can call Florida Star, 766-8834, or 766-3401 is the station. 766-8834 is the Florida Star. So let's get together and talk about Beyonce's father, Matthew Knowles, and how he became such a success from his very meager background in Mississippi. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. How are you? Hello. How are you?
Great. How are you doing today?
Excellent.
I'm great. How are you today?
Thank you so much for speaking with me.
Good. How's that pronounced? Arthia?
Arthia, actually.
Arthia.
Arthia, like Arthur.
Yes, right.
Yes.
Arthia. Got it.
Yes, sir. Well, there's so many places that I can begin. We've been following you around 4 years. Well, my publisher, Clara McLaughlin, actually was the first black woman to own a television station. Back in the day, Oprah was going national, and she was actually based in Texas. And, of course, I have a Caribbean connection as well, so we're definitely most obliged that you have allowed us to speak with you today.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, well, of course, this book that's coming out, I guess the first question I have for you is, how does someone go from working at McDonald's to being the top sales executive worldwide for Xerox to being the music mogul that you are today?
Well, that's a good question, Arthia. I think it started with me as a young child, actually, growing up in a little small town, Gaston, Alabama, seeing my parents, my dad making $30 a week driving a truck, my mom making $3 a day being a colored maid, the term for that time. And then my dad convinced his employers to allow him to keep that truck all the time, and he would use that truck to generate revenue. He would tear down old houses and take the metals out and sell. And we had a car that needed junk, and he would bring it to our house and sell the radiator, he'd sell the engine in the cars, and he was an entrepreneur. My mom on the weekend would get with her best girlfriends, and they would make quilts, and then my mom would sell these quilts. So I learned entrepreneurship at a very, very early age, and I watched my dad and my mom extremely passionate about what they did. And I was fortunate to have my parents as my mentors.
Wonderful. Parents as your mentors. That is truly profound. Okay, so I guess that brings up the topic of DNA and the DNA of high achievers, 10 traits of highly successful professionals. What inspired you to write that book?
What inspired me was when Destiny's Child and Beyonce, and I was working with them, I would fly all over the world, almost daily. And I would sometimes have the opportunity to sit next to highly successful people, presidents of major companies, people who have founded major companies and were owners. And I began to notice in my conversations that they all had these similar things they talked about, how passionate they were, what vision they had of their company, how they built their team, and what the work ethics were. and how much they learned from making mistakes. And then it dawned on me that the friends that I knew had these similar traits. And then I looked at my life, and it just a light bulb went off. Hey, this is a book that I should share with people, these common traits of highly successful people. And what is the origination, what is the origination of these people that gave them the determination to be successful?
Okay, wonderful. Now, it's not coming out until October 15th, 2015, but it's already climbing the charts on Amazon's bestseller list. How does that make you feel that people want to hear what you have to say and they're already prepaying and pre-ordering the book?
Well, I'm extremely grateful. One of the traits in the book is thinking outside of the box. And the way that we launched this book, we thought outside of the box, and I had the opportunity to go to a major, to be the keynote speaker at a major annual convention where I announced the book, and fortunately in pre-sales, the book actually went number one as a number one bestseller in two categories, in self-help as well as music business. So excited about that, and now we give folks an opportunity to continue to buy it in ebook on Amazon, or they can actually get the hard book, and I'll autograph it for you, and that's at DNAofachievers.com, DNAofachievers.com.
Okay, now one thing I noticed, it's being published by Music World Publishing, and of course, anyone who knows you knows that Music World is something that you started and all the rest of that. Are you now going to consider adding a publishing arm to your company with multiple books and other publications coming out?
Absolutely. I personally have 3 books. I started on my second book. Music World Publishing we've had now for about 15 years. It's an arm of Music World Entertainment. So we have that publishing in music right now today, and now we're moving from adding actually from music to books.
Okay, wonderful. And you talked about, I guess, coming from a family in Alabama during those times. I'm sure racism was there. I'm sure poverty, that was something that you met as a child. When your daughters were born, they were born into a middle-class family. When your granddaughter was born, she was born to the wealthiest black couple in entertainment, according to Forbes. So 3 generations climbing, just moving higher and higher. Do you feel that success can be generational based on the success of your own family?
Well, that's part of it, but I don't want any reader or listener to think that you can't today, even if you haven't had success, you can today start that travel, to start the initiative to become successful. And I think it's important that we don't confuse determination with passion, because it really starts with passion. And I challenge everyone to take a moment and just for a moment think of that one thing. And we all have that one thing, not multiple, but one thing that we go to bed at night dreaming about, that we wake up in the morning thinking about, that we want to do. And I say focus on that. That's your passion. Focus on your passion. And from that, the work ethic is different. When you're doing something that you love, the way you approach it, the way you work every day, it's kind of, I was laughing. Someone said, well, how do you know if you're not an entrepreneur? The answer to that is, if you don't work 7 days a week, I know you're not an entrepreneur.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, now I'm going to go.
Entrepreneurs work 7 days a week.
Yes, now I'm going to go through the topics very quick because I want them to get the book to see the topics that you've got. Passion, work ethics, vision, risk-taking, team building, talk-to-do ratio, planning, learning from failure, giving back, and thinking outside the box. With the topics that you've listed in your book, which one of those would you say is the one that you would really encourage your readers to zero in on?
I would have them really to focus in on passion, because without passion, none of the other 9 happen. So that's the key and critical one. And once you start reading this book, you'll get in about chapter 3 or 4 how they all interconnect with one another, that you can't have one without the other. But it absolutely starts with passion. And so that's where I want folks to really start, is passion. That's the important trait.
Okay, thank you so much.
Do you know what media received the first Eagle Award by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office for being the most factual? The Florida Star. Do you know which media solely addresses issues of concern for African Americans? The Florida Star. Do you know which media carries local, state, national, and international news regarding African Americans? The Florida Star. Do you know the only media that carries a special section for our youth at home and the schedule for 3 black television networks? Now you know. The Florida Star. Northeast Florida's largest, oldest, and most read African American newspaper, serving since 1951 in more than 200 locations. The Florida Star. News you can use. News you can trust. The people's choice. Striving to make a difference. Subscribe today. Call 766-8834. That's 766-8834. Pick up the Florida Star at over 200 locations, or to have it delivered, call 766-8834. The Florida Star, speaking truth to power.
Let's get back to Impact with the Florida Star.
I'm the Caribbean editor of the Florida and the Georgia Star newspaper, which is, of course, the sister for Impact Radio. And, of course, I am going to ask, and I know you'll pick up my mother tongue if I say something like how it go and what you're saying and all the rest of that. But if you don't mind, kindly let us know about your Bahamian connection and which island you feel your navel string is buried to.
You know, I'm told with the last name Knowles, and I've been to Bahamas at least 10 times. I'm told that Long Island, it could possibly be where my ancestry is from. I know the University of Bahamas were doing research on that. I haven't heard back from them yet, but I myself, I'm very curious to understand that, and if that is accurate or not. So if you can help in any way of that, I'm certainly open to that.
I will certainly, because actually in my town in Eleuthera, interestingly enough, where Roxy Roker and Al Roker's family is from, and Lenny and Zoe visit all the time, we have quite a lot of persons with the surname Knowles in that town. So you have more than one island to consider when it comes to that.
Well, if any way you can help, please, let's find out.
Okay. All right, wonderful. Now, your book is being hailed as a passionately rendered blueprint for hitting the high notes of success in any industry. Do you feel you have successfully transcended beyond music, beyond management, beyond, even your parenting and all the other things? Because you've got gospel, you've got pop, you've got so many genres under your belt. Do you feel that it transcends through any industry?
It does. It doesn't matter what industry. These traits, the way that you go about being successful, it's a similar path. It's a similar roadmap, and you can apply this to every aspect of your life.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Really, truly appreciate you sharing all that information. And we do look forward to getting a copy in our newsroom, because it certainly sounds like it's something you will need in the workplace. And if I may go on with this, you managed your daughter at a time, and one of the things that I was always curious about, especially in the role that I play in my daughter's life and some of the things she does with the peer mentoring group she's a part of, how do you feel you were able to successfully parent and manage and provide that balance in your daughter's lives?
I do a number of seminars. One seminar I do It's called The Entertainment Industry, How Do I Get In? Another seminar that I do is Parents of Talented and Gifted Kids in Entertainment. What do I do? And encourage, if you like for me ever come to any of the cities that you work with, I'd love to come in and give one of those seminars or both. It's a difficult road being a parent, as well as working on the business side and being a manager specifically, because it requires leaving your emotions and leaving it at the door, because you can't be full of emotions and make right business decisions. That becomes the hardest part of it, is separating business from the family emotional aspect of it.
Okay. And I guess my final question for you will be, as a black man in the United States, especially with all that's happening in news and all the rest of that, for someone to see you putting out this book and saying, well, he doesn't have it like I do. I don't have a college degree. I'm living in the hood. I just don't have the opportunities. What would you tell them to do in order to, I guess, follow through with some of the examples of success you have followed in your own life?
Well, that's easy. First of all, just remember where I came from. Little small town Gadsden, Alabama. Uneducated parents who were poor, living on a dirt road. I'm painting this picture. Dirt road, having an outside bathroom.
Oh, Lord.
And living in a period of segregation and being the very first to enter into elementary, junior high, high school, University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. So I'm going to say that again. Poor parents living on a dirt road with an outside bathroom in an area and heart of segregation, being the first at that. I could easily say, I'm a victim. Poor me, I can never do it. So I represent these people that you say feel that way.
Okay.
And it started with, read this book.
Yes, I like
Hopefully it gives you a roadmap.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things at the end of every chapter in this book, it actually takes you through a process. There's some work that has to be done at every chapter that makes you work on yourself. So I didn't end the book just as a worksheet at the end of each and every chapter. Just for folks that's trying to find their way. And a lot of us are trying to find our way. And I didn't want this book just to be something you read. I wanted to really be a roadmap for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it definitely sounds like something not just for reading, but certainly something that could be applicable to everyday life. Mr. Knowles, thank you so much. Thank you so much to Tracy and to Angelo for connecting us with you today. It has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, and have a great day. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
I hope that you've enjoyed listening to Mr. Knowles, the father of Beyonce, who has written a book, The DNA of Achievers. You got that? The DNA of Achievers. And it's no secret, before Mr. Knowles was the Grammy Award-winning executive producer, he was top sales executive worldwide for Xerox. So he's done a magnificent job. The DNA Achievers is 10 traits of highly successful professionals. And his daughter is an example of what a highly professional example of what they can be like. And we really thank him for sharing the 10 traits of successful people, his passion, work ethics, vision, risk takers, team building. Okay, so talk to do racial planning, learning from failure, going back and thinking outside of the box, and curious about the experience of Matthew Knowles and others. If you have any questions, please let us know. Just pick up the book, The DNA of Achievers. It's a self-help industry book, okay? And it can help you share with yourself and other achievers what it takes to be a successful person in this country. And Knowles is a good example of he knows what to do. Knowles is offering a special treat where on a limited basis you can get a free autographed first edition paperback book by going to www.dnaofstrategievers.com or go to Amazon for your pre-sale Kindle ebook. But whatever, take time to get this book and read it and listen to the stories that Mr. Knowles as he talk about it. Thank you for reading the Florida Star. You can call us at 766-8834 to get your copy of the Florida Star every week at more than 300 locations around Florida and Georgia. Okay, the Florida Star and Impact. We're still the people's choice, serving you since 1951, striving to make a difference. The Florida Star and Impact, still the people's choice.
Pick up your current issue of the Florida or Georgia Star at more than 300 locations throughout Northeast Florida and Southern Georgia. You can also place obituaries and promote your business. The Florida Star is an award-winning publication as well as the largest, oldest, and most read African-American-owned newspaper in the area.